Topping the news this hour, Harvey Weinstein is at Bellevue Hospital in Manhattan instead of at Rikers because we're told of chest pains and heart palpitations. That is after he was found guilty of criminal sexual assault and rape in the 3rd degree, but found not guilty of the more serious charges that could have put him in prison for life. Weinstein faces up to 29 years in prison when the sentencing does come in March. But for now, let me take you to a spokesperson in New York. Live for us this morning is Juda Engelmayer. Juda, thank you for being up early with us today. I wonder, do you know what's the latest on how Mr. Weinstein's health is this morning?
Yes, thank you. He was taken yesterday on the way to Rikers. They diverted him to Bellevue Hospital because he was experiencing some chest pains and heart palpitations, from what I'm told by his legal team. But he's just being checked out, and eventually will make it to the NIC at Rikers.
You know, were you there yesterday when the verdict was read, and what did you see or hear Mr. Weinstein have to say afterward, and his demeanor? In addition, aside from how his physical health may have deteriorated, what was his reaction immediately, Juda?
Disappointed, obviously. When he first heard it, a little bit shocked, and we all were shocked, actually. The verdict came as a little bit of a surprise, and I can get into that if you want to, but he has maintained his innocence the entire time and still does, and we believe that we're going to have our say on appeal as well, where we can get the point out too.
Okay, so appeal, you just touched on that. You say that's going to be happening. You know, what is it that I'm hearing about a prison consultant? Did you have anything to do with the hiring of a prison consultant? And what does that person do? So,
listen, when you've been walking the earth for 67 years, having people help you out on a regular basis, now you're expected to go to a prison, which seems like a scary thing to do. There are people out there called prison consultants who help prepare you. They plan your expectations. They help let you know what you should expect, what you should be doing, and to some degree, they can even help navigate once you're inside the system as well.
And did that work already begin long before the verdict, Juda?
Not long before, but it began during the course of the trial when, you know, obviously he has to prepare himself for the inevitable. We didn't know how the jury was going to come back. We were hoping it would come back one way, but we always knew the expectation could be this way.
So, now, what about... go ahead.
No, so he did prepare himself for it, and the consultant has been helping him navigate.
What? Like what? It's fascinating, that this industry exists, that there is a consultant. I could see why someone would need that. Are you able to listen when they're imparting information? And is it surprising?
So, I mean, I've heard a lot of the conversation, and, you know, I can't reveal a lot of the inside conversation, but it is surprising. It's information that's good to know, stuff that you wouldn't know. The only thing I know about prison is watching Oz on HBO years ago. And, you know, if that's what people think they want to, you know, that they should expect, they want someone that could help them manage, navigate, prepare, and maybe even help them find different accommodations inside the prison if possible.
You know, as Mr. Weinstein's spokesperson, now with this verdict yesterday, a mixed bag, if you will, verdict, acquitted on some, convicted on others, how does this change your job?
So my job has been to help correct or at least add to the narrative that's been out there, because for the past 2 years, the only stories that have been told have been the stories of people who have been accusing him, and one-sided to a degree. He couldn't get his story out there because he's going through a legal battle, and you don't want to give up your defense beforehand. But has it changed right now? I think that we still want to make sure that people know who Harvey is, what he wants to accomplish going forward if he has the opportunity, and some of the feelings that he has and some of the thoughts that he had prior to it, preparing for this trial and going through the trial. When we heard the verdict, as we did, like I said, we were a little bit surprised. You know, I can get into the expectations of what we thought, but ultimately, one of the accusers who was up there, we thought, and many experts believed, that the credibility wasn't there with the jury. The fact that the jury convicted him for 2 of those accusers and not Annabella Sciorra, who we thought might be the hardest one, it makes us question the process in the first place. Maybe the jury was making a social decision more than a just decision.
What about in terms of him being remanded over to custody and not having the freedom before sentencing?
You know, I can get into my opinions on why I think the judge did what the judge did, but...
Well, how did Mr. Weinstein feel about it? How's that?
Okay, he was disappointed in it. He was hoping that he would have the opportunity to sit at home and I guess, on house arrest and have his own medical care, taking care of himself, and at least manage his affairs from while he was waiting sentencing.
You know, how does this change what he thought his opportunities for the future were? Because obviously, this throws a wrench into it for him. I don't know if you had put this information out, but I remember doing one story where he had said he hoped that he had an opportunity in the future anyway to go back to the movie business. This would be a whole different thing going on, Judah.
So yeah, I mean, the movie business is something that's always been a love of his and something that he really wants to do. But if he had the chance now, he would do it on the sidelines while he would look, you know, maybe do some script writing, maybe help people with consulting. But he really wants to devote life to charity, philanthropy, building hospitals, building centers where people can get help. He supported in his way the Me Too movement, thinking that women needed a chance, needed equality. He thinks with him it went a little too far, but he supports movements like these, and he wanted to continue doing that.
What now, as you still have, not you, but he would still have charges in LA to be concerned about, even while waiting for sentencing?
So that is something that we're looking at right now. Prior to this, had he been acquitted or a hung jury, we believe that he would have had to turn himself in within 72 hours. Now I think we have to wait for what LA is going to do, wait for sentencing, or ask for the state to bring him over there. I don't know how that's going to work yet. We're in the process of figuring that out.
I had read some of the talking points before about him being upset or disappointed that he doesn't have a walker right now.
He couldn't use the walker he brought to court every day. They're giving him court-mandated materials to use. He will have a wheelchair. He will have a walker in there, but it's not the one that he likes using.
Does Mr. Weinstein have at all a message for the people who had accused him now that this verdict has happened, or no, because of the charges pending from Los Angeles?
You know, I think that the message he had all the time is he's not angry at anybody. He only wishes people well, and he hopes that now maybe people can move on with their lives, get some solace, and he wishes them all well. There's never been any ill feelings towards anybody.
Judah, are you allowed to see him, or no, because he is technically in custody, even though in hospital?
There are visiting hours, both at Bellevue and then at Rikers, so and I believe his legal team is going to be seeing him today.
All right, Juda Engelmayer, thank you for your time. Certainly a busy morning, I'm sure, for you. Spokesperson for Harvey Weinstein, as we said, Weinstein still does face charges in Los Angeles and has not entered a plea there yet, but yesterday was convicted on the lesser charges.